and my law firm, U.S. Immigration Law Counsel, in response to the hundreds of accounts impersonating me and my law firm, U.S. Immigration Law Counsel, let me be the first to tell you that those are scammers. We do not have a Telegram account. We do not have any other social media account than our TikTok account, which is immigration_attorney_Sam, or our Instagram account, which is immigration_attorney_Saman. You can also contact us directly by going to our website, www.us-ilc.com. You can also call us directly at 954-589-1180. You can also click on the link in our bio profiles, which will take you directly to our bookings page. But we are not going to reach out to you or try to contact you or ask you for monies at any point. So please, if you're looking to book your strategy session or get in contact with our firm, please visit our website or call us directly. Has the Trump administration gone too far with their immigration enforcements? You guys remember in those mass deportation rallies, they were only saying, we're going to go after the criminals and the rapists and the really bad people. And then he got elected and everybody was getting arrested, and they redefined who the criminal is. So somebody who had overstayed their visa is now a criminal to be detained and deported. And then they started detaining lawful permanent residents, and then detaining people at the port of entry who were coming in legally, and then detaining people who were going through the process, and then going to marriage green card interviews, and then detaining those people. And now they want to detain legal refugees who have not obtained their green card yet. And it's just snowballing. And now they're doing denaturalizations. They've opened up a denaturalization case against the former mayor of North Miami, who apparently, allegedly was involved in a, I guess, fake marriage. That's what the report is saying. So I want to know whether or not the people who voted or didn't vote for him, are you guys agreeing with all of this immigration enforcement that's going on? Let me know. If you're deported from the United States, you can still come back to the U.S. We've brought back countless of foreign nationals who have once been deported. It depends, of course, on why you're deported and what type of deportation it is, because you have to meet the requisite period of time outside of the U.S. For example, expedited removal is 5 years, in absentia removal order is 10 years, but mandatory outside 5 years. And then there is a waiver when you have a removal order, the I-212, that can be filed when you're outside of the U.S. Now, to come back to the U.S., you have to have a reason. Either you're going through the immigrant visa process with sponsorship through work or a family member, or you can come back to the U.S. for a temporary period based on various types of categories: tourist, temporary work, temporary student, etc. But just because you're deported doesn't mean that that's the end all be all of you ever being able to come back to the U.S. or get your green card or become a U.S. citizen. There's so many people who have been deported who are now United States citizens. So it does happen. There is a process. You have to follow the process. But at the end, then you will be entitled to your immigration benefit. If you're a U.S. citizen but don't reside in the United States and you're trying to petition for a loved one, you may run across some issues when it comes time to the embassy appointment for that loved one. That's because on the I-864 affidavit of support, where a United States petitioner has to complete to say that the foreign national is not going to be a burden to the U.S. government, the main requirement is that the U.S. petitioner resides in the U.S. or intends to reside in the United States. We've dealt with countless cases from people who've called us with embassy refusals, saying that the U.S. petitioner lives outside of the U.S., understandably so, usually with their spouse or parent, etc. And they have to get their visa denied because of this until they show that the U.S. petitioner has either intent to reside back to the U.S. or that they are already living back in the U.S. If you notice on the I-864, there's a question there that says country of residence for the U.S. petitioner. So it's very important that if it's not in the U.S. where you are residing at that moment, that you actually show your intention of residing back in the U.S. as a United States petitioner. Is crazy and mind-blowing to think that the government is perfectly okay with deporting hundreds of thousands of Haitians back to Haiti. To have temporary protected status, you have to have a very clean record, cleaner than even obtaining your lawful permanent resident status. So we're not talking about criminals or people who are not productive members of society. If you have TPS, you show your good moral character, you show you've been here for a period of time, you show that you can get a work authorization to work and contribute, and you are a productive member of society. Haitians that have had temporary protected status for the last 15 years. And I'm not saying that temporary, I understand the argument, temporary is temporary. And you're right, it probably should not have lasted 15 years, but it did. And now what? You're going to kick out hundreds of thousands of Haitians to a country that is not even operating, that's just ran by gangs, that doesn't have any type of, even airplanes don't go into Haiti. I mean, the idea of just removing them rather than giving them some type of relief, which the Department of Homeland Security has the authority to do, is a really sad situation for them. Is crazy and mind-blowing to think that the government is perfectly okay with deporting hundreds of thousands of Haitians back to Haiti. To have temporary protected status, you have to have a very clean record, cleaner than even obtaining your lawful permanent resident status. So we're not talking about criminals or people who are not productive members of society. If you have TPS, you show your good moral character, you show you've been here for a period of time, you show that you can get a work authorization to work and contribute, and you are a productive member of society. Haitians that have had temporary protected status for the last 15 years. And I'm not saying that temporary, I understand the argument, temporary is temporary. And you're right, it probably should not have lasted 15 years, but it did. And now what? You're going to kick out hundreds of thousands of Haitians to a country that is not even operating, that's just ran by gangs, that doesn't have any type of, even airplanes don't go into Haiti. I mean, the idea of just removing them rather than giving them some type of relief, which the Department of Homeland Security has the authority to do, is a really sad situation for them. If you want to know if you can come back after you have been deported, then we need to do an analysis on your case. We need to request your immigration files. We need to review your criminal files. We need to speak to you. We need to see exactly what led you in the situation of being deported and what qualifying relatives or circumstances do you have to be able to return back to the U.S. Whether you want to apply for a tourist visa or if you have a relative in the U.S. that wants to sponsor you for your green card. Before going through the exhaustion and time spent with the government to see if you can come back, you can contact us and we can do our analysis on you and determine whether or not you can return back legally to the United States. So at least even if you don't get the answer that you want, at least you are going to be getting the answer and knowing exactly what your options are. If you want to know if you can come back after you have been deported, then we need to do an analysis on your case. We need to request your immigration files. We need to review your criminal files. We need to speak to you. We need to see exactly what led you in the situation of being deported and what qualifying relatives or circumstances do you have to be able to return back to the U.S. whether you want to apply for a tourist visa or if you have a relative in the US that wants to sponsor you for your green card. Before going through the exhaustion and time spent with the government to see if you can come back, you can contact us and we can do our analysis on you and determine whether or not you can return back legally to the United States. So at least even if you don't get the answer that you want, at least you are going to be getting the answer and knowing exactly what your options are.
So tell me, is there a lot of witchcraft in Africa? I was like, there's more witchcraft in America than anywhere in the world.
Really?
I'm serious. It's just packaged differently. It's packaged in a way that people have accepted it. People accept white witches. There's no such thing as a good witch. None. All witchcraft is bad. Anybody that is connecting with the devil, whether it's New Age, whether it's witchcraft, whether it's Church of Satan, Scientology, it's all the devil. Here in America, they think witchcraft is cute. It's not. If you open the door and allow the devil into your life, it will bring the attributes of the devil. The attributes of the devil is to steal, to kill, to destroy homes, families, children, business, just everything. And you can see how much our society has gone to a place where it's just so dark and demonic. There are just two forces in the world, God and the devil. Human beings are in the greater, balance of power in the universe. There's the power of God and there's the power of the devil. Human beings don't have power. We have authority. Let that sink in. We don't have power like the devil. We don't have power like God. We have authority. And if we give our authority to God, God intervenes in the world. If we give our authority to the devil intervenes and messes up our world. So the reason why our world is so crazy is because human beings have failed to give their authority to God.
Interesting.
You know, people think that I don't have to believe in the devil and I don't have to believe in God either. Great deception for you to believe that as a human being you can survive on your own. There is no such thing. Human beings don't have ability. That is why, Lara, you find out that people that don't have any God will worship a rock. They'll worship a tree. They'll find something to worship. Because there's something in every human being that's supposed to worship God. And if you don't worship, that is why there are all kinds of religions, all kinds of things people worship. There is something in you that will never find peace till you find more meaning. You find a spiritual meaning. So, you know, one of the things is that most people's idea of God is according to the precepts of men. If you don't read the Bible and you're grounded in the Bible, you will be deceived. You will be worshiping some God that is not the God of the Bible, and you might as well be worshiping an idol. It's not every bad thing that is happening to you is the devil. It's sometimes people are actually reaping the reward of what they sow. Because whatever you sow, you reap. You sow things, you don't reap it, your family, your children, your generation will reap it. That is why bad things happen to people. But the good news is God's grace and mercy can overturn even down several generations. The judgment for evil is visited to 4 generations, to 3 to 4 generations. But righteousness is visited to 1,000 generations. So if you sow righteousness, there are people right now that their lives are good, not because they deserve it, because there was a praying grandmother several generations back. Laura, if the living knew what the dead know, they will all give their life to Christ. If the living knew what 1 minute after you take your last breath, what is going to confront you at the other side of eternity, they will turn to Jesus. But the issue, the devil has put a blindfold on the hearts and the minds of people, so people don't truly recognize that in this world that I'm walking in, I was born in this world to be reconciled to God.
Okay, Mr. Kennedy, you brought this case before the court.
Yes, ma'am.
What's going on?
So I'm sharing custody with our 12-year-old daughter now, and I'm just wanting a little more help with finances because as she's getting older, expenses are getting a little higher, and sports, dances, going out hanging with girls, and yeah, I just want a little more help on my end. I'm paying insurance already, and
Okay. How much are you paying in insurance?
130.
All right. And what is your daughter's name?
Autumn.
Autumn. Oh, what a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Autumn. Okay. So what type of expenses does she have that are increasing?
Yeah, so she's doing volleyball right now, and we're thinking that she's going to be doing that in high school as well.
Okay.
So just, athletic wear and then traveling, going to places. I want to go and support her and as well as her, but I'm the one having to drive and take her if I don't want her to ride the bus because I don't feel her safe doing that.
Okay. Is this a school bus or
Yeah, it's a school bus.
with her teammates?
With her teammates, yes.
And you don't feel that she should
No.
ride with her teammates?
If it's really far away, maybe like an hour or more, I'll
Okay.
drive her. But, if it's 30 minutes or less, I'll usually let her typically go.
Okay. That's understandable. Okay. Is there anything else you want me to know before I move over to her?
She's just a growing girl, and girls are expensive, as they say. So.
I mean, we are. We have a lot of stuff that we need. So, yeah. Ma'am, is there anything you want to add or subtract from what he said?
Yes, Your Honor, I do feel that he's trying to take advantage of my new relationship.
Okay.
I do feel that he's trying to take advantage of my new relationship.
Okay. Tell me about this new relationship.
Well, I can't really help who I have fallen in love with. So my new husband is a fantastic provider. However, I do get an allowance, and it isn't as much as you would think
An
coming
allowance?
from, well, my husband's a CEO of an energy company, so
Oh,
you would
really?
expect a huge allowance, but obviously he has to protect all of his hard-earned income.
What type of allowance do you receive?
About $500 a week.
$500 a week. Okay. All right.
So, which really isn't that big a deal. I mean, obviously,
That big a deal in terms of the amount of money, or you paying child support for more in child support for the child living with him and having increased expense?
well, I don't think it's that big a deal to Mr. Kennedy because he has a pretty healthy income himself.
But you do understand his income does not have anything to do with an increase in what you should be paying in child support, right?
Yes, I understand that, but what I
Okay.
don't think has been considered yet is the fact that I set aside furthering my education, though I wanted to pursue that, so that he could go get his MIS degree and then a master's in something. So I'm not sure that it's fair. I would like to consider all the money that wasn't spent on me that should have been spent on me while we were married.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not how this works.
That should have been spent on me while we were married.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not how this works. And sir, she says she gets a $500 a week allowance from her husband, and who is a CEO of an energy company. Briefly, how much money does your husband make?
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. How,
It's a lot.
It's a lot?
I think so.
When you say a lot, is it like in the 200,000s, 300,000s?
Well, the car that he drives was about 200,000.
Oh.
So I'm thinking you probably have to
You
make
only
more
get a
than that.
$500 a week. You know what? That's not my business. That's not the reason I'm here. I'm not going to even entertain it.
That's what I was thinking too.
I'll just move on. Sir, do you know how much money her husband makes a year?
I don't, but he's the Steve Jobs of the town of energy,
Jobs.
so to say.
So let me ask you this: are you expecting her child support to be based on his Steve Jobs?
No, his success has nothing to do with me or my daughter or our
Okay.
daughter. And like I said, I just want a little more help because she's
Okay.
getting older, and she's happily married with whoever, and how big his wallet is, that is totally up to her.
Okay, well, I'm glad that's not what you were doing because you can't do that anyway. But what we can do, ma'am, is make you pay more in child support, because at this point you've been paying zero. Because from what I see, you're a stay-at-home mom, which is absolutely okay. But you do understand that your child has increased expenses, correct?
Yes, I do see that.
Okay,
but
so after yes, I do see that, that means that I don't need any further response. So you understand that, right?
well, how much are we talking about?
We're gonna base it off that $500 a week allowance that you make.
Okay.
So, based on that, I have your gross at $2,000 a month. After you take out the calculations for the taxes, your net comes out to $1,662.53. Okay. That will give you a child support obligation of $266. However, you also heard him say that he pays $130, correct,
Yes, ma'am.
in medical insurance for the child. You're going to have to reimburse that to him. So, in addition to the $266 a month for child support, you add the $130. Your child support obligation monthly comes out to $396.
Can I say something?
Sure, but make it brief.
Okay, well, I don't know if he's still subscribing to the same psychic,
Okay.
but she charges, I think it's $412 a month.
Okay.
And
What does this psychic have to do with these numbers?
well, because I just feel like if he can afford the psychic, then maybe he can afford the insurance. And I guess I feel that that is money that could have gone towards my education while we were married.
Okay, well, I've already said no to that. That has nothing to do with me. I mean, you should address that in your divorce, obviously. And whatever he pays, if he chooses to do that, that has nothing to do with your responsibility, your financial responsibility to your daughter. So if there's nothing further from either of you, you all are dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, we've now reached the educational portion of our show. I just wanted to go over what you all just watched in the case of the Kennedy. So the parties, they were married previously, no longer together, they're divorced, right? Mom is now remarried to a CEO of an energy company. Dad is looking for her to pay an increase from zero amount of child support to something more that he is able to financially support the children. Not only can she be able to pay child support, that answer is yes, but I also want you to pay attention to the spouse in this case. So under Texas law, whenever there is a change in material or substantial circumstance, the courts are able to increase child support. So even if you were not necessarily in a court order to pay an amount of child support, that can be increased if there's testimony to show that you actually do have some more money. Well, in this particular case, the spouse made a lot of money. Well, unfortunately, under Texas law, a spouse's income is not calculated in terms of child support for what the other person has to pay. You only can pay child support, the person only has to pay child support based on the amount of money that they were receiving. So her child support amount was based on the allowance that she was receiving from her husband. And that's what determined her child support obligation. Mr. Schaefer, you brought this case before the court, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, go ahead. What's going on?
Well, my son was married to the respondent, and he died. They had a child that's now 3 years old that has been left in my custody, and I'm asking for some sort of relief or support because I'm retired from the military and on a fixed income.
Okay. First of all, my condolences for the
Thank
loss
you.
of your
I
son,
appreciate that.
and thank you for your service as well.
Oh, thank you.
How long has the child lived with you?
2 years.
2 years. Has mom given you any support for the child?
No, she hasn't.
She hasn't bought anything.
Not significantly, no. But I've just now come to the point where I need some relief and I need some help.
I agree with that. Ma'am?
Well, I've been traveling. My job had me traveling a lot, and I was in between jobs. I'm making 35,000 now,
Okay.
and you know, I'm
Where
not.
are you traveling?
Well, I'm a travel agent,
Okay.
so because of that, I can just travel. I get discounts, and I get to fly free. So,
Oh my God, that is amazing.
So-
but that has nothing to do with you giving some sort of financial support.
I didn't
to
have
this,
it.
excuse me, I was talking. That has nothing to do with you giving financial support to this man for the support of your child. Your child, not his child, your child.
The-
For the support of your child. Your child, not his child, your child.
It is my child, that is correct. But like I said, my job had me traveling, and I really didn't have the extra money.
What are you doing with yourself every day? What do you do? Tell me about your travel.
Well, I had got this new condo for one thing, and you know.
Wait a
so
minute. You got a
expensive.
you got a condo and you're traveling. But
Yeah.
how much is this condo?
Well, I'd rather not say.
No, I'd rather you say
Because-
how much is this condo,
It's pretty steep. It's pretty steep.
ma'am. What does it
And-
mean? That means nothing to me.
It's-
Steep. You know how many people come in here with things that are steep? I need a number.
I like to live nice, and so I pay 5,000.
See, you know what? You obviously came here to waste my time.
No, I didn't
Yes, you
really. I
did.
didn't. And I
Ma'am,
really
yes, you
didn't
did.
have
I've
any
asked
extra
you a
money.
very specific question. How much is your condo?
Well, I pay 5,000 a month.
$5,000 a month?
Mm-hmm.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
is this 3-year-old in daycare?
Yes, he's in preschool because he has some special needs.
How much is daycare?
Daycare runs about 300 a week.
$300 a week.
Don't you get some kind of this?
And don't you
No.
just need to wait your turn until
Yes,
I
ma'am.
come to you.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not talking to you. Thank you. Sir, $300 a week. And what type of special needs does the child have?
He's autistic.
Okay. Does he have to, you have to pay for like any medical expenses?
He needs special counseling, and of course, he has regular doctor visits.
Counseling? Does mom show up to any of those doctor's visits or anything?
Well, no, of course, I haven't always told her, but I haven't expected her.
Exactly. You haven't given him any money.
Haven't expected her.
Exactly. You haven't given him any money either.
Well,
Well, I'm not talking to you still.
Now, I don't have anything against my former daughter-in-law. I mean, she was married to my son, but I do need a little more involvement and a little help.
I agree with you. It definitely, if she's spending $5,000 a month on a condo, I don't even stay in a condo.
I
ma'am.
need that. I
Okay,
have to have
well,
that.
I need a condo. Can you give me your condo? Exactly. So your child support based on $35,000 a year. Are you carrying any type of health insurance on the child?
See, that's another thing. Since on the child,
Yes.
well, the child is autistic, so the child gets a check. So I don't understand why you need my money.
Okay.
Because you get assistance
Again,
from the government.
excuse me.
I mean, my child.
Excuse me. Last time I checked, I was the judge.
You are.
Okay, thanks. That means that I asked the questions and I addressed him. He addressed me.
Okay.
You do not address him.
All right.
Okay.
Understand.
How much is health insurance for the child only?
I have no idea what health insurance is for the child.
So obviously you don't pay it. Sir, how much is health insurance for the child?
It's just short of $400.
Short for the child only?
Yes,
Ma'am, you
I'm covered under the VA.
Well, I thought he was getting
no,
government
well, I
assistance.
thought you should have been giving him something for child support. So we're going to go ahead and make that happen today. And the child has been living with you for the past 2 years, you say?
2 years.
So not only am I going to make you pay child support, ma'am, you're going to pay back pay as well.
Can I afford that?
Guess what? Sell your condo, then you can afford that. So I have your gross based on $35,000 a year at $2,916.67. And you said the health insurance is $400 a month.
Yes,
And you said the health insurance is $400 a month.
yes.
That's pretty steep based on, well, not that your coverage is not steep, but in Texas, we're only allowed to take 9% of her gross. So based on 9%, it'll be $262.50.
Will that start, can you give me maybe 3 months before that starts, so I can rebudget my bills?
Let me think about that. No. So $262.50.
I got a question, why are you being so hard on me?
Ma'am, I'm not being hard on you. You have not given this man any type of child support to
But
support
you're not
your child,
having-
and then you come to court and say you don't have money, but you travel and you have a $5,000 a month condo, but you don't give him anything a month.
I don't have it, I just don't have it.
Well, I can't help you. So it's going to be, I have your child support obligation. And how many children do you have? I'm sorry, ma'am.
Just one.
One child, so that's based on 20%. Let's see here. Sir, you said you all have a cordial relationship. Are you okay with continuing that health insurance?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and are you seeking any type of reimbursement from her on the health insurance?
No, I mean, it's all in the past.
Okay, well, you got really lucky. He cut you a break. So your child support obligation, your net comes out to $2,466.03. Your child support obligation comes out to $394.56. Now your back child support, that $394.56, you have to pay that back from the time that the child has lived with
Oh,
Mr.
wow,
Schaefer.
that's not,
You have to pay that back from the time that the child has lived with
oh,
Mr.
wow,
Schaefer.
that's not.
Yes,
fair.
ma'am. In Texas, it goes back 4 years. Your child is 3. So with that calculation, it comes out to $14,204.16 to be paid monthly at an amount of $200. That makes your total child support obligation set at, well, I'm gonna make it $300 because $14,000 is a huge amount. So that makes your monthly child support obligation $694.56.
I got some bills that I can show you, I just can't afford that.
And you know what? He has bills that he can show me as well, and you have not done anything. And you're lucky that he cut you a break because I didn't have to let him do that. Is there anything further, Mr. Schaefer?
That's all that I have. ma'am.
Can we talk and maybe we can talk amongst one another and see if we can come up with an agreement?
You're more than welcome to do that at a later date, but right now I just made my ruling. Do you have any other questions
I
pertaining
guess
to
not, since I have to pay all this money.
Okay, well, I guess you all are dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I wanted to go over what you all just saw in that particular episode. The custodial parent, dad, passed away. The child now lives with his father, the grandfather. The mother, is she obligated to pay child support? Well, under Texas law, that is very much so the case. So although this is a grandparent in this situation, the child has been living with the grandparent for the past 2 years. So he's assumed the daily responsibilities that his son was actually taking on while he was living. Well, now, because he's deceased, that child support obligation does not die with the dad. Mom is going to be obligated to pay child support. The court hears all kinds of testimony to determine what mom's child support would be. You heard it. She pays $5,000 a month for a condo. She has the money to be able to afford child support. And it's as simple as that, folks. She's going to have to pay it. You have to pay that back from the time that the child has lived with
Oh,
Mr.
wow,
Schaefer.
that's not.
Yes,
fair.
ma'am. In Texas, it goes back 4 years. Your child is 3. So with that calculation, it comes out to $14,204.16 to be paid monthly at an amount of $200. That makes your total child support obligation set at, well, I'm gonna make it $300 because $14,000 is a huge amount. So that makes your monthly child support obligation $694.56.
I got some bills that I can show you, I just can't afford that.
And you know what? He has bills that he can show me as well, and you have not done anything. And you're lucky that he cut you a break because I didn't have to let him do that. Is there anything further, Mr. Schaefer?
That's all that I have. ma'am.
Can we talk and maybe we can talk amongst one another and see if we can come up with an agreement.
You're more than welcome to do that at a later date, but right now I just made my ruling. Do you have any other questions
I
pertaining
guess
to
not, since I have to pay all this money.
Okay, well, I guess you all are dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I wanted to go over what you all just saw in that particular episode. The custodial parent dad passed away. The child now lives with his father, the grandfather. The mother, is she obligated to pay child support? Well, under Texas law, that is very much so the case. So although this is a grandparent in this situation, the child has been living with the grandparent for the past 2 years. So he's assumed the daily responsibilities that his son was actually taking on while he was living. Well, now, because he's deceased, that child support obligation does not die with the dad. Mom is going to be obligated to pay child support. The court hears all kinds of testimony to determine what mom's child support would be. You heard it. She pays $5,000 a month for a condo. She has the money to be able to afford child support. And it's as simple as that, folks. She's going to have to pay it.